It looks like we're all set to go for Ōkami by Kinnin11. Can I get some Bork from the chat?
Hello, everyone. So, good morning. We're gonna be walking the dog for now, so that's why we're running Ōkami for the upcoming run. I'm gonna be doing new game plus any percent. That means that I am going to start with a completed file in the special new game setting of the game, new game plus setting rather. So you're gonna see this nice shiny file. It says start at the beginning in Japanese, and well, without much further ado, I guess I'm ready. So in 3, 2, 1, go. So one of the main things about New Game Plus on the PS3 is that the main difference is that I can actually skip the cutscenes rather than on the new game of PS3 where you can't skip any cutscene. There are some cutscenes that I can't skip, but that has some weird sequence break reasons because I technically never saw them in the right order. So yeah. So right off the start, you might be seeing that I'm jumping in and out of cutscenes. This is called speed restoration. Basically, Amy has a certain amount of speed she can walk, and if you jump in and out of cutscenes, you basically store it in the cutscene, and then when you jump back out, you restore it. It's really useful, and in some cases, you'll see me do some really weird stuff to try and make sure to keep my speed. So one of the main gimmicks in this game is called the brush. In this case, I'm using it to draw a star, to complete a constellation. Now, the whole main idea of the game is that you get these constellations to get certain brush powers back. For instance, I got the restoration brush power, which allows me to restore this river back to actually being a river. Pretty cool. However, in any percent, we're going to be skipping about half of all the brush powers you can get. Instead of actually getting all 13 of them, which is another category, which is probably better than this one, but there's been a lot of new stuff in this run, so I wanted to show it off. So yeah. This is the tutorial area in a sense. It kind of teaches you how to play the game and how to run through it and how to use the camera and everything. And it's a little slow, but it also has a little bit of a story in it. But first, we're gonna restore this statue because it's missing a sword, like that, and that gives us a new brush power. I always miss that star. This is Power Slash. As you can see, Power Slash just slashes things really nicely. And it's actually casually a very useful brush power to have, because you can Power Slash just about anything and kill it, or at least deal damage to it, which is really, really neat. There we go. And we're going to be skipping a fight here. You guys ready for it? And we skipped the fight, everyone! Woo! Yeah, so in this game, the triggers are either too big or too small. Most of the time too small, especially when it comes to fight triggers. So we'll be skipping a lot of cutscenes and fight triggers simply by walking or jumping around them. Which just sounds a little bit silly, but yeah. It's a nice little trick for more experienced players to kind of learn that you can just kind of walk around things if you want to. So the bit of the story is that there's this sealed village, and we're gonna unseal it by cutting off this fruit right here. You see it dropping. And that causes the village to come back, but it's not actually healed or anything, and we'll never be doing that anyways. They can fend for themselves, don't worry about it. They're strong people, even though they're made of stone. But that's fine. So we're going to be showing off the main glitch in this run, which is the Karmic Transformer glitch. Basically, it's an infinite jump glitch, where I'll be switching an item in my menu and then doing an input. So, like this. There we go, first try. And, I hate when that happens. There's like an invisible wall like to the left of the boulder. And it can give you some troubles sometimes. Wow. Okay, so I'm stuck inside of the boulder, which means I'm gonna have to KT out of it. But I think I'm gonna have to do 2 of them, which is not very ideal. There we go. That boulder can be really obnoxious. So yeah, what the Karmic Transformer glitch kind of how it works is that you have these Karmic Transformer items, which are basically a skin for Amy to make her look different. They're New Game Plus only, so this glitch is only available in the New Game Plus version. And what kind of happens is that the game thinks you're on the ground for like a single frame, and in that frame you can input a dash, and from that dash you can jump, which basically allows you to have infinite jumps. Which in this case really breaks the game. And if we could skip one little thing, we could basically complete this game in less than half an hour. But as the run is right now, sadly, we have to go through a little bit of the actual game rather than just running to the end. So here I'm gonna equip a couple of items, mostly just weapons, but I'm also gonna use actually this exorcism slip. So an exorcism slip basically deals a lot of damage to everything in the area, or everything in the arena, which allows me to just breeze through almost all the fights. It's gonna just be a lot of slip work. It makes most of the fights quite like inconsequential. You just kind of do them really quickly, and it's all execution based rather than any enemy luck being in there, which is actually really nice. I really like that about this category. Go, next fight. Now, at this point of the story, we're supposed to have already gotten a brush power called Sunrise. However, we skipped doing that, and we need it for this bit. But for some reason, whenever you need it story-wise, the game just gives it to you. I kind of like we kind of think the reason why that happens is because technically, because you're the sun god, you already had it. So that whenever there's a story element, the game just triggers it as, yeah, you already have it. Because that's the way you first draw a sun anyways. It does mean that I cannot like turn it into day whenever I would like to, because it doesn't actually trigger normally. That's why you saw the like only the little circle rather than a sun animation. But yeah. So this is one of my favorite parts of the run, Susano. So Susano is a big warrior, but he's really bad, so we're helping him out here, cutting these torches. And then sadly, we have to call PETA because we just woke up a bear. But don't worry about it, he's just sleeping over there now. And yes, he is sleeping. Don't worry about it. Thing is actually called Sleepy as well. Sleepy the bear. And he really likes to stand on round things like this ball, which is really obnoxious. Ball has a lot of way too precise collisions, so when you're pushing it around, it can just randomly jump to the side, and it's obnoxious. I don't understand why they didn't make it like more of a like the hitbox more of a hexagonal rather than an actual circle. This game either loves or hates circles, which is annoying. Anyway, we got a new brush power. It's called Bloom. With it, we can bloom these big old trees, and whenever we bloom these trees, it basically restores the area. Because almost all of the land has been cursed, and we're here to try and fix it. So we're gonna jump right here and do another infinite jump. There we go. And we just skipped another fight. Like I said, fight triggers are either small or big. And we're just jumping through here. See if I can get the tree to hit his brother. Yee, we got him. Here we got a refight of the first fight I did a moment ago, but you can just jump around, like walk around it. Easy peasy. It's really weird that the triggers are so small at the start. And now that we've learned Bloom, we're gonna bloom the tree in Shinshu Field right here, so that we can continue on. Now, Shinshu Field is also kind of an area where you learn how side quests work and how what you can expect in areas. However, I already know all that, so I'm just gonna skip doing any of it and go to the next stage. The next stage, wow. Go to the next area. And to do that, we're gonna be jumping over here, and we're gonna go into an entrance you're not supposed to go into yet, but it's already there. So we're just gonna jump towards it. Because KTing is really nice. That's the shorthand for the Karmic Transformer glitch, by the way. The infinite jumping is KT. I'll probably be saying that a lot throughout the run, so do keep that in mind. Okay, so Agata Forest. There's actually been a lot of new stuff found, and this is probably one of the newest things. I'm gonna be pushing the camera with the brush, and then I'm gonna, by turning the camera, you can see it like tick a little bit. That's because I'm moving the camera out of bounds. There we go. So we just unlock the camera. Oh, it wants to snap back like that. We're gonna redo it real quick. And I need to move it like that for a bit. And by moving the camera like this, I will be able to bloom the tree in a bit. But it's been not too helpful for me lately. To try that again. Oh, come on, please. You're supposed to like be able to do this in like one try and everything, and it's, if you get it first try, it saves like 10 seconds over doing the old strat, but it's really been not helping me out lately. Not been working with me. And there we go. That should be enough space. There we go. The camera really doesn't like being there, so, and the angle is just slightly wrong all the time, so, but that is like one of the neatest things in this game. I really like it.
You also did one of the hardest games. You actually drew a circle correctly.
Yeah, like I said, the game either loves or hates circles, and drawing a circle like sometimes will just not register. Also, I just skipped another fight by doing that 1 KT there. Don't worry about it. It's totally not an important character with a lot of character and whatever, a lot of personality, and you'll definitely not miss him at all. Don't worry about it. But yeah, anyways, a lot of Agata Forest is still like kind of broken, and there's this dungeon that's really scary. And I don't like scary dungeons, so I'm just gonna continue on to the next area. And to do that, we're going to be doing a liquid KT. Now, a liquid KT is different from a normal KT. I just did it. Anyway, the way you do it is you do like a dash over the water, and then you can just switch your KT and then just jump. You don't have to do a frame perfect input or anything. You can just jump out of it, which is really useful since you can't actually jump normally over water, except when you're doing a liquid KT. Why that is, I have no idea, but it works like that, which is nice. Saves a lot of time, a lot more than you think. So now, normally, like with Agata Forest, you would expect me to just like go to the tree and just instantly bloom it and then just blaze through. However, for some reason, when it comes to the Takapa's tree right here, we have to go over into this tunnel because the tree is like to the north. I'm moving to the other side of the tree, basically. I'm moving somewhere else to kind of do a fight, and that unlocks the trigger so we can bloom the tree. Now, the only version where you don't have to do that is very specifically the Japanese Wii version. Not the English Wii version, no, that one still locks it. Only the Japanese Wii version. Why that is? I have no idea, other than that the Wii version is kind of crappy. But other than that, I have no idea. Don't play the Wii version, please. If you're gonna play like a motion-controlled version, play... Well, you can play the PS3 version actually if you have a move, but play the Switch version. It even has touchscreen controls. And yes, I'm very biased against the Wii version. We actually used to do new game runs on the Wii version, but because it wasn't very good, the version would crash a lot, just completely randomly in loads. It would just freeze, and you'd have to restart your Wii for it to work again. Which basically meant that doing runs on the Wii is just bad. Anyways, we bloomed a tree in Takapa, so we can actually do things now. And we're actually going to be doing things. We're not just gonna skip through it really quickly. We're gonna do other things in it.
And while we're traversing, I would like everyone to know that we are the Benelux Speedrunner Gathering. We organize bi-monthly events in the Benelux for speedrunners, and we're currently streaming our annual event live from Hotel Osteria in Venray, the Netherlands. We are raising money for the Dutch Cancer Society, a nationwide organization committed to fight cancer while aiming for more cure and a higher quality of life for those already battling the disease. All of your donations will be going to the Dutch Cancer Society. But aside from that, you can also send your money to one of our incentives. One of them coming up being the Shantae category upgrade to there's all dark magic pirate mode, no out of bounds. And aside from that, if we reach 4,000 total, by about noon on Wednesday, we get a bonus run in Barney's Hide and Seek. Any amount of players, no controller.
Awesome. Anyway, what I just did there was do a quick little fight to get a fast travel point called the Mermaid Springs. And that gives us... I'll later on be using those to travel, so I've been unlocking them slowly but surely. But now we're going to be doing Sasa Sanctuary. Now there's a cool quirk in this game. It's actually just really neat design. That whenever you, that every area that has interior areas basically has them below the exterior areas. So I'm jumping out of bounds here by jumping over the loading zone. And that allows me to just fall for a bit. And by like picking a very precise location, I can just fall into the interior of Sasa Sanctuary. This basically allows me to skip an entire fetch quest and just blaze through it and go to the next bit here. So basically, the spring water has been dried out, and this little bird is really distraught about it. But luckily, we have this old man with his bamboo that is really good at finding water. So we're gonna try and get him down into the spring in this little digging game. And the idea of doing this digging game fast is by getting him down as quickly as possible rather than going down quickly yourself. So you might see me like draw circles around him to make him go faster, and I just tend to wait from time to time. And luckily I already know the position. The position is always fixed, so we're just sitting here waiting for the dude to just come over. And that will get the spring back again. And not just that, by getting the spring alive again, we can get a new constellation. And with that constellation, I just got myself a new brush power called Water Spout. Now what Water Spout does is it allows me to control water like that and create pillars of water when you see like splashing water, which is pretty neat. Now, because I never did the fetch quest, getting out of Sasa Sanctuary is actually not very trivial. I'm gonna have to KT out of it. I have to focus a little bit. Did I mention that these things are frame perfect yet? They can be really tricky. So usually like a lot of runners, when they first start out with New Game Plus, they're just really daunted by KTs, and a lot of people just shy away from the run because of it. But luckily, the way the menu closes gives you a really nice cue, so you can really time it nicely. And with enough practice, you'll basically be doing them without thinking anymore. But trying to get them consistently is still something that you'll struggle with for a while. I remember when I first started learning the game, I spent like an hour trying to consistently gain height with KTs. That was quite difficult. So we're going to be skipping another big area of the game. So getting over this bridge usually means that you need to do an entire dungeon and defeat a boss at the end. However, you can just go into the corner like that and do what's called a corner glitch. Whenever you're swimming into a corner, for some reason, Amy will auto jump, and that allows us to get over into this geometry. Another one. And by doing that, we just skip over it, and you see all these like buildings, and they don't have back-facing polygons, so they just disappear on the other side, because they're meant to explode and be destroyed and everything. And it's kind of funny that you can just go over there anyways. Quite recently, like in the new game speedrun, they actually found a way to do that without using KTs, which is currently the hardest trick in this game. I have not been able to reproduce it yet, even after like trying for a couple of hours. It's really obnoxious. But that's a different run. And I'm happy I'm not doing that one. So happy. So right here, we're supposed to have like a bomb ability to get through that crack that you saw. But instead we're just jumping over it and using a little camera trick here to get the water from one basin to the next, skipping the second basin. It's a neat little time save. And here the camera just turns like that, so you just jump up and go for it. And that causes that little sprout to turn into a big old tree. I know what we do with big old trees. We bloom them. And that lifts the curse, and we can go straight into the next bit. So the next trick that I'm going to be doing is called Stair Clip. Basically, you just run into a certain place in the stairs right here, and it just clips you through. Why? I don't know, probably just badly placed polygons or whatever, but it basically just makes you fall down. And because there are interior areas in this area, we can just jump down right here and get into the dojo. Now, in the dojo, you can learn a lot of cool techniques and a lot of power-ups and whatever. Power-ups on your damaging combos, but we're only here for one specific thing, and that is the double jump. The double jump is just really useful because it cuts the amount of KTs you have to do in half. And this first third of the run is basically just focused on getting the double jump as quickly as possible. As far as I know, there are no real quicker ways of getting the double jump without skipping fast travel. Now that we have got the double jump, we're gonna go backtrack a little bit and get some brush powers from the dungeons that we skipped along the way. And also the friends we skipped along the way. Yeah, dude. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry about that one. We're going to be skipping another fight here. It's a little tricky because there's some water down there. So sometimes you can basically be in the wrong spot for the KT. But if you get it first try, it becomes a lot easier. We just jump over the gate right there. You're supposed to like do an entire like main quest line before you are able to reach this area. However, we just like skip through it, and then we get Waka over here. And Waka tells us that we've been slow. Like we've been so slow that he's bloomed this area for us. And it's just like we're 26 minutes into the game, and he tells us we're slow. Seriously. Most people don't reach this until like 5 hours in their casual playthrough, so slow my ass.
Yeah, actually, he's calling you slow, but where's his Ōkami leaderboard time?
Exactly, you get it.
Where is his top dog time?
Oh boy, don't woof. Literally woof. Anyway, we did a quick little shopping menu to get mermaid coins. With the mermaid coins, we can use the Mermaid Springs fast travel points. Because we skipped a certain quest, this is like the first point that we can actually quickly buy them along the way. Because they only unlock in all the other stores after a certain point in the story. Also Ōkami. We'll be getting to Ōkami later. We're just setting him up right now. Because we want it to be night when we get back to him, and drawing that sun over there causes it to become morning again. And then we're going to fast travel, which gives me a moment to hydrate.
Stay hydrated, chat. We've been live for a while.
There we go. And we fast travel back to Taka Pass. And we're going to go into Kuso Village. Yes, you heard that correctly, Kuso Village. It is a very annoying thing to go through the village. Luckily, we just skip the entire village and get straight into the dungeon, the Guild Shrine. Now, if you've ever seen a marathon run of Ōkami New Game Plus any % before, you're probably thinking, oh my god, is this the bit where he's gonna be doing menuing for like 8 minutes in a row, and it's gonna be really boring, and I'm not gonna watch it? Well, we've got some new glitches. There's been a new glitch found by the community. It's really cool community effort trying to figure out how this works. But we're gonna be skipping doing the full 8 minutes, and instead we're just gonna be doing the final minute of the giant KT section. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be trying to do a jump before the game has set my respawn location. So what that does is it causes my respawn location to stay at 000. Now in the Guild Shrine, it happens that 000 respawn position is in the perfect spot in the middle of the dungeon where you can just go straight and get Guildstorm and be done. And it's the only place where it's this useful. So what we're first gonna do is we're gonna be clearing this cutscene, because the moment this cutscene loads, it has already set your respawn location. So just run back out, and we're gonna run back in, and I'm gonna be mashing the jump button, and hopefully I get the right frame. Oh, I got it first try. Woo! Okay, now for the difficult bit. Because I need to void out without setting my respawn location to anything new, I'm gonna have to KT through this tunnel without touching the ground. And it might seem that I'm touching the ground here and there, but as long as the double jump causes like the red maple leaves to come around, I'm totally fine. Oh boy. No! Oh, that was the final one before I was saved. Oh, that would have been really fast. Oh boy. Well, let's hope we get the frame again. Nope. So basically what I'm looking for is for Amy to already be up in the air when I can see her. That's also not right. Yeah, you can get stuck here for a while if you're not getting the frame. Wow, getting really unlucky with my mashing. You could technically time the jump, but the loads are not consistent enough. I don't trust that one. That was close, but I would rather go for like a 100% chance. There we go. That was perfect. Okay, whew. We're in the clear. As long as I don't drop like 6 KTs in a row now, we're good. So I'm gonna jump over an invisible wall right here, and then we're just gonna drop down. There we go. Yeah, I can already hear the flames, and we're in the middle of the elevator. Whew. Now all we have to do is KT up the elevator.
And while we're going up, I would like to thank ESA for supporting the event and allowing us to stream on their channel. And you can consider supporting both the events at once by using your subscription on this channel. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can link your Twitch account to unlock Twitch Prime, which lets you subscribe to a single channel for free.
Dude, I'd love to subscribe with Twitch Prime. There we go. That's the elevator. And now we just have to go outside for a bit and jump up there as well. You could technically KT up the entire elevator and go all the way up. And go up to the platform to get Guildstorm that way. But it's slightly faster to just straight up KT to it right from the when you get to the second floor. So doing all this basically skips this really long dog fetch quest. And doing the origin warp, as it's called, compared to doing the 8-minute KT section, saves like a solid 8 minutes. 8 minutes, what I'm saying, 4 minutes. Still a really huge margin, and like currently the world record is a 120, but we can definitely lower that down to like a 118, if not more. And back in the day when we finally got a 121 time, we were like, oh, this is like the time, and it's really going to be really difficult to beat. And now we got this giant glitch that just saves so much time. It's nice. I do kind of miss old school Gilstorm, but it's a lot nicer on my hands to do this one.
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Yeah, sure.
We have a €5 donation from Ba-chan saying, good luck, Kinnin. Put this towards runner's choice.
Thank you, Ba-chan.
So anything you'd like to put it to?
You were talking about this cool Shantae thing. What was that all about?
Oh, yeah, there's a ton about that. That is an entire category upgrade where we will be upgrading any % pirate mode, no out of bounds, to all dark magic pirate mode, no out of bounds.
That sounds like a good place to put it.
Guess I'll do that. Thank you, Kinnin. And thank you, Ba-chan, for your donation.
Anyway, we just, when we're done with getting Gilstorm, we just KT once out of bounds, and then we just jump down into the dungeon. Now there's still like a boss at the end that's really scary, and it's been terrorizing the village. And oh no, and we're not gonna fight him, don't worry about it. The villagers are strong enough, they can deal with it. Don't worry about it. They're strong people. I mean, they even have dog protectors, like seriously. Of course they're good. So yeah. And we're right back at this stupid tunnel. Happy I don't have to do it again. And then we're going to be KTing out of bounds again for a little bit, because there's another weird respawn shenanigans going on with the cursed state of Kuso Village. So we're going to be doing that real quick. That's 3, Wheel of Bong. 4... 5. So you would expect me to, when I void out, to respawn back at the dungeon entrance, but for some reason, I got respawned all the way back at the start of the village. So yeah, doing those KTs perfectly saves you about like 5 to 10 seconds. It's really weird, and I'll take it. And we're gonna be going back into Agata Forest, because I was mentioning it was still kind of broken. So we're gonna fix it just a little bit, and then we're gonna fuck off again. And that gives me time to hydrate as well. Stay hydrated, kids. I do love me some H2O. So we're gonna be jumping down here into the forest. So on the left there, you see that little speech cloud. There's this guy, like little kid, that's really worried about his dog because his dog is missing in the dungeon, and the key was dropped into the water. And if you go help him with fishing, he'll get the key back and everything. But like, yeah, that's slow. So we're just gonna KT over the door and straight into the loading zone like that. There we go. We don't need no key. And then we're gonna go up into the dungeon. So we're gonna be skipping most of the Tsuta runes, as they're called, simply by KTing up here. There we go. And there we go. Awesome. There's like some weird invisible walls there that can mess you up. I actually forgot to zoom out at the end there. So in this dungeon, you see that purple Listerine over there. It's very toxic purple Listerine. And to get rid of it, we first have to defeat these 4 demon gates. And of course, to do fights quickly, we're just going to be using some slips. There we go. And on to the next one. So basically by running into this wall, I'm still keeping my speed. But whenever I would jump, I would lose my speed again. But I only need it for this little bit, so it's fine. There we go. And now upcoming there's a cutscene that you can skip, but you only have a single frame to skip it. And once again, there's no real... let's see if I can get it. I got it! What? Nice! So once again, there's like no real cue for it or anything. You just have to mash and hope. And if you get it like I did just now, you save 18 seconds. Like, it is such a big time save if you get it, and it's just so stupid. And of course I get it in a marathon run, of all places. But yeah, now that we've cleared the purple Listerine, we're going to be jumping down into the center of the dungeon. Wow. Because there's like a really nice room here that gives us a brush power. And the only way to get the loading zone for it to appear is to get rid of the purple Listerine. So, yeah. Shoutouts to Kaiserado for calling it the purple Listerine, by the way. I still love that. Shoutouts to the entire Ōkami community, dude. You've all been poppin'. Anyway, we got ourselves a new brush power. This is a vine. Now what vine does is this. Whee! You can basically pull yourself and other things towards these flowers. And it's kind of useful in some sense, but we only really need it to defeat a boss. So I'm going to be doing a random KT over here. So there's a cutscene trigger right there that I just jumped over. And once again, because triggers are weird here, it's too small and you can just jump over it with a KT. If you don't do that, you lose about 20 seconds, so it's just way worth going for. And now we're gonna go walk back to Shinshu Field for a bit. Gives me some time to sit back. And just relax. Enjoy the sights. It is a very pretty game. Sadly, though, you're not getting the full-on 1080p quality, sadly. Because if you play the game in 1080p, it causes a lot of lag in the game. Especially when doing the KTs, the fan will like close very slowly more often. Like, it'll get stuck on a frame, and doing that really ruins your KTs. So I'm actually playing on 720p. To make sure that the PS3 can just run normally. So right here we're doing this little fight. I'm gonna have to remember this guy's name in the Japanese language. Sadly I can't read Japanese, so I just pick a few characters to remember and I use that. And the only real reason we're doing this, the only real reason that we're doing this is to make sure that it's night. Because whenever you do that short side quest where you get that monster fight, it just turns the game to night, which is really nice. And then we're going to go over here, clear this demon gate, because this Demon Gate will give us a new Mermaid Spring that we're going to be using to backtrack to a place that we were a while back. Well, that's what backtracking is, but you get the idea. There we go. Get ourselves a new Mermaid Spring. I'm gonna travel back to North Rio Coast, back where we got the giant orca thing. So do prepare your orca Z's, because we're gonna be sailing for a bit. Only the best FZ emote that the Ōkami community has, together with Bork. So yeah, now that we've got it night, we're gonna get onto Orca, and we're gonna be sailing with him for a little bit. So a while back I mentioned that you can't do KTs above water. However, luckily, Orca does not count as water. Strange, I know. Anyway, we can basically stop right there, do a KT, and get up onto Watcher Escape right here. This skips like a giant bit of the game and getting a certain brush power that allows you to come up here. And the reason why we do it with Orca is because we need Orca to go into the next area. We're going to be drawing a little star right there, and he's going to wish upon it, and by wishing upon the star, he gets this beautiful whirlpool galaxy to appear. But there's one problem. It's not spinning. So we're going to be summoning wind on Earth to spin the galaxy. Because that's totally how galaxies work. And by spinning the galaxy, we get this whirlpool to appear, and that whirlpool will lead us to the Dragon Palace. Let's see. Go, cast Orca. And the reason why we're going to the to this one is because we're currently going into the next arc of the speedrun, and that is getting the Thunderstorm ability. And to do that, we have to get into the Dragon Palace and do a little bit of story. Yes, this game has story. You'd be amazed watching New Game Plus speedrun. In all seriousness, though, do play this game for the story. It's based on Japanese mythology, and it's absolutely amazing. It's such a good story. Oh, wow, I didn't actually reach that. So we're jumping over an invisible wall here, and I keep misjudging how high I am. So we're just gonna go full for it. There we go. And there we have a water dragon. He's been causing mischief. So we're gonna go into his mouth from out of bounds, because why not? There we go. So now that we're inside the water dragon, we're gonna help him out a bit, because there seems to be something wrong. I mean, one of the things is that there's demons in his stomach. That's what those little scrolls are that are floating around. If you'll run into one of those scrolls, you get into a fight. But I have a special item equipped that basically gives me the ability to, well, just walk past them without them getting drawn to me, which is really neat. Do a little liquid KT to go faster here. Water movement is probably the slowest kind of movement in this game. And with the key that I just dropped but will magically reappear in my mouth, I'm gonna get rid of this lock and go into this area. Now, there's a dragon orb over there, and we're gonna have to get it loose. Now, the way that the game intends you to do it is by releasing some acid and doing it like that. However, the game designers programmed the the thing to work when you water spout it, which is really smart. It's a really elegant design. However, with this camera trick, you can basically just skip having to do all the acid, which is really neat. Sadly, it has been patched in a newer version, so you can't do that there. But releasing the Dragon Orb also causes the 2 foxes to be released. And we're going to be fighting them. Wow, I got really good patterns. So I've basically been power slashing these 2 foxes right after I use a slip. Doing that causes their floral finisher to happen, which basically makes them instantly disappear in this case and instantly go to the next phase, which is just really fast. But where they spawn is completely random, and you can get unlucky. Just like with these drops of acid, they're completely random, and I'm gonna have to jump through them right here, and I got unlucky. Yeah. Wow! They're kind of based on where you're walking in some sense, but most of the time they're just random. And if you get unlucky, you'll lose like... Oh, wow! You'll lose 20 seconds unless you get hit twice in the air. And then you lose like 30 to 40 seconds. Oh my god, that's the worst luck I've had in a long time. Wow. Marathon luck, dude. I'm happy it happened in a marathon run though, rather than a world record attempt. So now that we have gotten the Dragon Orb out of the Water Dragon, the Water Dragon sadly dies, but it's for a good cause. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. Nice, quick restore. But before we leave, we do have to like tell the queen of the Dragonians, like, hey, we killed your dragon. Okay, bye. Basically in the story right now, the Dragon Orb shows us that one of our friends that we skipped is in danger. And even though we don't know this person, they're still our friend, I think. So we're gonna be saving them. And we got this cool little music. And back onto Ōkami. Yay. There we go. So what I like to do in marathon runs is show off this cool little glitch connected to the, what's it called, the farming transformers. So I'm gonna grab one of these horses right here. Oh, come on, let me grab you. And then I'm gonna switch KT and then whee! It's the most useless glitch in this game, but it's absolutely funny, to me at least. We call that the telekinetic rad, and we haven't found any use for it, but whatever. If you have anything you want to plug or do, go ahead.
Thank you. I will indeed. We would like to thank the Esports Game Arena for providing us with the gaming monitors for this event. The EGA is a home to a variety of on-site gaming events in Alphen aan den Rijn, including our BSG bi-monthly marathons. Also, we would like to thank Nintendo Core for sponsoring the prizes. Nintendo Core is an online store that sells Nintendo goodies and all sorts of other merch. Be sure to check them out at nintendocore.org.
So here we have our little friend. She's a ghost now. Apparently we suck as friends. I think skipping her kind of like made her die. But she's like telling us something about a friend that we haven't met yet. Also, there's this bridge. Cool bridge. Anyway, we've got this other friend that's also in trouble, so... Well, we skipped them as well. I hope they're fine. I guess we'll just have to check it out. So yeah, this is the palace of our friend. She's called Queen Himiko. Apparently we're friends with the queen. I didn't know that either. We're a special dog, for sure. I'm gonna take a sip real quick. So right here, we have this giant pool of lava. Now I don't actually have the item to swim through it, but I do have this. Wow, I was too high. I do have this really cool infinite jump glitch that I can also use above water. And luckily lava counts as a liquid, so I can do a liquid KT. If I'm not an idiot. Anyways, this is what I like to call pulling a Kai. Kaiserado used to like feel this a lot, so I just joked about it with it, and I'll still call it like that. Anyway, we're gonna run up to our friend here, and oh boy, she does not look good. She seems to be attacked. Well, let's destroy her attacker real quick. There we go. So our friend died again. We really should stop skipping out all of our friends. They keep dying if we do that, apparently. But anyways, because our friend died, we're mad, and we're gonna destroy the actual person that killed our friend. Oh, that was too early. Ooh, I'm gonna have to do that again. Oh well, whatever. I'll go through with this one then. There we go. Totally not sketchy. It is actually possible to skip that lava without using KTs, but getting to Queen Himiko is ridiculously difficult. It's like multiple frame perfect inputs like that are not right after each other, and it's just no one's ever tried it, and luckily in the new game speedrun we skip having to do that nowadays, so it's not worth it anymore. Anyways, here's Waka again, telling us some vague mumbo jumbo, so we're just gonna run away. He has more to say, and if you go the other way, the game actually forces you to talk to him, but because we already went that way, we'll just run past him. We're gonna get this cute little area. Apparently, this city has also been cursed, and there's a lot of sick people around, and like this guy doesn't look too good, and this guy also doesn't look too good, but they'll be fine, don't worry about it, they'll fix themselves. We can just skip saving them, don't worry about it. Oh boy, speed there. So anyways, here is the lair in the distance there. You can see the lair of the bad guy that killed our friend. So we're gonna go over and see if we can destroy the bad guy. And we'll actually have our first actual boss fight. Can you believe it? So first we're gonna jump over here. I'm cutting this corner, not just because it's slightly faster, but also because there's like a fight trigger right there. So if you get too close to it, you'll just get into a fight. Anyways, the Queen of the Dragonians turns into the Water Dragon, and because she does that, we can actually get into the big bad lair. And you look at it, it's so scary. And when we enter it, I'm gonna attempt another origin warp. So I'm gonna be mashing again for a bit. Oh. Nope, didn't get it. Oh well. If I'd gotten that one, that would have been really cool. Because that one basically puts you below some area and it just shoots you up, and it's really neat. But it's slower to try and go for it more than once, so instead we're going to be doing this strat, which skips just about 3/4 of the entire dungeon as well. So basically we're trying to jump around here, and I'm trying to keep my momentum up by not getting hit by polygons like that. And the moment I land, I want to jump. You see only the little green spots appearing and not the yellow flowers and everything. We like to call this technique green hopping because of that. Probably a mischance to call it grass hopping, but whatever. And I want to try and keep my height as well as I can, so I can get to that statue over there. And we're going to be restoring an arrow on the back of that statue. And by doing that, we can get our next brush power. It's actually the final brush power we will be getting, which is a thunderstorm. There we go. So what a thunderstorm basically does is allows us to control thunder like that. Now the game expects you to go forward, but luckily when it comes to dungeons, the entire map of the dungeon is loaded when you get into this interior area. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be jumping out of bounds. There we go. And we can just jump straight into this specific loading zone, which just gets us further into the area. And we're gonna go over here and get into this 2D section. This is like one of the only 2D sections of the game. And if I'm fast enough, I'm gonna be able to skip a cycle. And it's looking pretty good. I grab this key and then go straight back down. There we go, we skipped the cycle. If you weren't fast enough, that bamboo thing would just like go straight and not allow you to pass. So it's really nice. And now we can just go slow for a bit. Once you enter that key, another cycle starts. And it doesn't really matter if you're going really fast for it, because when we get here, even when I went slowly, the cycle isn't there yet. And we're gonna be jumping through these wheels, trying to get through them as quickly as I can. I'm gonna power slash the last one to stop it. Going through there really quickly, you can get into the final one instantly without doing the power slash. But I'd rather just play it safe for now and not lose too much time. I could explain more about this dungeon, but since I'm skipping almost all of it, I'm just like going over here for now, skipping another big part, and we're gonna be running into the best character in this game. This is Toby. He is a scrap of paper, but he is also the best speedrunner in the world. And we're gonna be racing him. He is like kind of a guardian, and he challenges you to races throughout this dungeon. And if you beat him at the final race, he will die. Luckily, however, we skipped the final race, so Toby is alive. Also means we won't get the achievement hashtag RIP Toby. Get it? RIP Toby because he's a scrap of paper. Anyway, bad puns aside. We're gonna go into the first boss. Yes, this game actually has bosses. So in this area we can't actually skip it. So here we're gonna fight against a Ninetales. Oh, wow, got unlucky there. So what you do, you hit her once, or hit him once, and then they split apart, and you basically you have to look for the unique 2 versions of him, and because those have a little bit more health and won't die from just a single slip. Luckily, I know the positions by heart, so just a question of finding them. And once you've done 2 phases of that, you'll go into less godly phase, and you can just mash your shooting ability, and then he dies. It's really nice. It's a nice fight. Sometimes you can get a little unlucky, and he moves in weird ways and everything, and he can be annoying, but I got a really nice fight there, except for like the first attack. So now we have all the brush powers that we need to be able to finish the game. So let's go and finish the game, shall we? Yeah, you got the move. That is a lot tighter than it looks. But yeah. So we're going to be moving to Shinshu Field because after beating Ninetales like that, there's some thunder that appears. Technically, we don't need the thunder, but it's slightly faster to use it anyways because it's there. Because like we can't like skip fighting Ninetales. It's like the only area where if you leave, the outside area is still stuck in a state that will force you to go to Oni Island. So you have to defeat Ninetales to be able to continue. I'm gonna go up here. Oh wow, I missed that one. There we go. You always like when you're doing like stuff that isn't Power Slash, like Thunderstorm or Water Spout, you're trying to get a little bit of a wave in your brush, because if you do it straight, the game will think you're doing Power Slash, which is really annoying. But sometimes you can like overdo it and then you'll miss your mark, and it can be a little bit tricky to work with the brush. There we go.
So I'd like to remind everyone to stay updated with our events by following us both on Twitch but also on our Twitter and Instagram under the handle BSG Marathon. You'll get a behind-the-scenes look at the event and stay up to date with the latest news on our marathons, events, and more. And that includes the bonus run, which happens after this one, because our speedrunners have been too fast, meaning that we have added Pit People Any Percent by Tricrow right after this run.
Sounds pretty awesome to me. Anyway, this area is also cursed, so we're going to be looking for the tree real quick. And the way to do that is to, of course, go out of bounds, because why would we stay inbounds? Oh, it would be a cool category idea, actually, inbounds, Ōkami Nougat Plus. Anyway, so we jump down, and we're going under the ground right here. Apparently, there's air there, so it's fine. And we're gonna KT under the tree. Now the tree is encased in rocks right now, and that's why we can't actually like bloom it from the others from like above ground. So instead, we're KTing right here. Oh wow, I got really close. And then just blooming it from underground, and then it just blooms inside of the rock. But luckily, trees are strong, and just instantly go here. Now, coming up is a very scary part, because there's an escapable fight where we don't actually have the brush power to defeat it. So if I hit the trigger, I soft block. So let's hope I don't hit it. Oh shit. I'm gonna do an extra one for safety because that was sketchy. I usually do it in 2 KTs, but I filled one too many there. But yeah, luckily the trigger isn't very big, so you can just skip around it like that. But if you do hit it, it's just basically, yeah, run over. And I'm not sure if I have a safety save that's close enough, so it might actually have killed my the marathon run as well. which would have been a little bit silly. But I'm usually quite like certain that I hit it anyways. So now we're gonna go into this area. Now there's like a ton of story here, and it's really awesome. It's basically the point in the game where everything gets explained to you, and I do really like it. So luckily we're not spoiling anything for you guys because we're just gonna skip through just about all of the story except the ending, which is nice. Another cool thing here, you can actually get stuck inside the invisible walls here. I think I already missed the mark for it, but we're gonna see if I can get it. Missed the mark. So you can get stuck inside of the gate, and it's really funny. You don't soft lock or anything or get stuck, you just bonk out of it just fine, and you can continue onwards. But it's one of those things that I really like about this game. Just a few little stupid glitches. But anyways, right there you see is like that gray and blue thing. That is the Arc of Yamato. It is the final area of the game, and to get into it, you're usually supposed to clear the final dungeon, and that will raise it up, and you get this beautiful rainbow bridge and everything. However, the loading zone to go into the Arc is already here, except it's just really high. So we're just using this infinite jump glitch to get into it way early, like so. Ah, wow, I missed it. Oh boy, I missed it. Oh boy. Oh wow, it was way too far forward. Okay, let's try that again. It can be a little bit stupid with the positioning because triggers are sometimes too small, and in this case it's really small spot. There we go. And now we've entered the Arc, and we're gonna go rampage around a little bit. So in the Arc you have these little paintings up on the wall. They represent the bosses in this game that we haven't fought before yet. We're supposed to have fought them all, but we haven't. So we're gonna be doing that right now. Before you can basically just go to the final boss, you have to defeat all of them. It doesn't really matter in what order, but of course we're doing the fastest order. And if we could skip this part of the run, we'll basically like shave off about an hour in this speed run, because most of this run is about getting the brush powers so you can defeat these. So for the first one, this is Blight. You run into him to skip a cycle, and then he does this attack. Oh, where you can just power slash the proper sword and one-shot it so you can continue onwards. There we go. And then we're gonna go on to the final, like, good pace killer of this run, which is Orochi. Now, Orochi is like supposed to be like the main villain kind of thing, and he's really played up at the start and at this point in the game as well. And we're only gonna be fighting him now for the first time, which is kind of funny, honestly. Beautiful picture. But his strats are also quite amazing. He's probably one of the cooler boss fights in the run. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be triggering the Earth Head to do his attack. And by getting him to do that, basically all the other heads will do their attacks when I run past them, which is not supposed to happen. So like this. And that way I can get 3 heads in a row to attack. And by doing that, I can get 3 of them at the same time with this water spout. Basically, the idea is to get them get the heads drunk, so I can get to the next phase. There we go. And on the final one, because there's only 2 things, I tried to hit the bell. I messed up though. Oh, that's fine. And then we're going to go on to the second phase. Now, the second phase, we can just play whack-a-mole for a bit, because we have an item that basically gives us 10 times attack power. And it makes this part of the fight basically an execution thing. And you have to get a little bit lucky, because you see all those fire bombs, where they land is random. And if you get unlucky, it'll just throw like right on top of you as you're waiting to hit one of the heads. Or it'll just go in front of you when you're running around. And I'm not getting good timings and luck at all. What? How? Okay. Oh my lord. I even practiced this earlier and it went just fine. It's actually the best Orochi I've had in a long time. There we go. Plus you. You okay, Mark? No? Someone already has the BSGBs.
I thought we banned that. Wait.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Not again. Anyway, so we're gonna go on to the next boss. This boss is like one of the first bosses you usually encounter. Back when I was playing her casually, I didn't know how to do her, so it took me like half an hour, which is really, really embarrassing thinking back, because basically the idea is that you hook, she has like hooks on her back, and you hook them with vines, and that will cause her butt to open, and then you can attack her. Or in this case, use 2 slips and kill her instantly. So yeah, you saw how quickly that was, and it took me like half an hour to do casually in the first time I played it. I was 14 or something, so yeah. A youngin'. Yeah, if you got anything, feel free to go ahead and then back my ears.
I mean, there's one thing I'd really like to let people know, because for the second to last game is actually a bit war between 2 games. So Gruntmeister will be running any of 2 games on the CDI, and you have the choice for him to run either Link, the Faces of Evil, or Zelda, Wand of Gamelon. So you get to see all the cutscenes on both ends, and you also get a bit war for the language of that game. So if you have anything you really want to donate for, I personally think Link is the better one, but hey, who knows, right?
I mean, they're both absolutely wonderful to look at, so those cutscenes are just the funniest thing ever.
Wonderful is subjective.
Fair, fair. Anyways, Crimson Helm. He's like not very difficult. That was Crimson Helm, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for him. He tries. He tries. He's probably like the easiest one in this whole set. The only thing you can really mess up is your execution. That's it. There we go. And on to the final of the boss rushes. Which is the only boss we've seen before, actually. And looking at the timer, I am definitely going over estimate. Yeehoy. It's only a few minutes, so it's fine. I did set the estimate at a very very sharp time. I didn't get I wasn't really confident I was able to do Rust enough to be able to consistently get it, but it's fine.
I mean, it's not like we've gone so far under estimate every time that we've added bonus runs or anything.
No, totally.
Like, we totally didn't add bit people any percent to after Ōkami or anything. That didn't happen.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And neither do I. Some weird scheduling thing, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a theme for me probably. I put my estimates at very, very sharp times to challenge myself a little bit, which I like to do. But yeah, for this game, it's fine. So yeah, that was Ninetales again. Same fight, same strats. Not very special. And then we are going to go into the final boss, which you'd think would be like a very big moment in the run. It's like the final ending and everything is going to be like really difficult, but it's, yeah, it's a bit of a tragedy in the speedrun. I remember the new game notes at one point saying, use 12 slips. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of that. So yeah, because we've defeated all of the bosses in the boss rush, we can finally go into the final boss right here. And we get to say bye to Marco. Bye, Marco. And go into the boss arena. Now, if only we knew where the boss arena was, if it's on its own map or anything, that would be nice. Anyways, this is Yami. Yami is a big ball. And we like to play with balls because we're a dog. And the idea of the fight is that Yami at the start of the fight has gotten rid of all your brush powers. So throughout the fight, wait, what do I do again? Iron. Sorry, he was rolling towards me. That's normally not what happens, so I got confused for a moment. Normally it does a specific attack right here.
Mare on luck, am I right?
Yeah. Anyway, like, the idea is that you have lost your brush powers, and by dealing damage to him, you get your brush powers back like this, and slowly but surely, you get the tools to fight him. And casually, it's a really good fight because it forces you to use just about every single one of your brush powers in some ways. Sadly though, because we have this crazy 10 times power item, yeah, you just kind of one-shot him in every phase. And that basically means that getting your brush powers back is a bit of an auto-scroller. So right now, he has no more health, but we have to go through all the phases of this phase. All the beats of this phase, rather, to be able to get to the next phase. And that's going to be a bit of a theme in this boss fight. It's really saddening. And a no-slip fight would honestly not even look that different. Anyway, in this phase, we do what I like to call rigging the slots by using 5 slips. There we go. Because this is a slot machine, and by dealing this amount of damage, he's already primed to just give all the burst powers in a row, and then we can kill him and go to the next phase. It's totally not cheating, don't worry about it. Oh, that's too early. Wow. For me. There we go. And after this brush power, we're gonna use a slip, and then we are going to the next phase by doing that. So for this upcoming phase, we're gonna be doing something new. Instead of 5 slips, we're gonna be using 6. 6. I like to front load them. You can spread them out as well. That used to be old strats, but I feel like front loading is fine. And then we're going to use another slip. It's such a tragedy, this boss fight. Anyway, after this we're gonna go into the final phase, and then time is coming up as well. So get ready for that one. Just one more slip, there we go. Then there's some really cool tear jerking moments that we're just instantly skipping. And Growing a Sun causes the actual like final ball to get out in time. That was really fast, sorry. I expected to miss him. Usually I miss him, so. Anyway, that was Ōkami. We don't actually use the RTA timer. There is an in-game timer. And that's actually a sub 125. Wow, I did not see that coming. So, nice. That's that used to be like a really big time. Oh my god, you got sub 125, and now it's just like, yeah, this is also a bad run. But anyways, thank you for walking the dog with me, and thank you for having me, BSG. I'll be back like just about every single day except the final few days. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you very much for the Ōkami run, Kinnin. Up next, we have Pet People by Tricrow, and I will also be taking my leave. I will be passing the mic on to Zeta, and I will be here later this week with more hosting. See you all around.